Okay, so I'm about to rip up a bunch of track here, and I'll tell you why. In the back, if you can see over here, there's a runaround track and a siding, and this track extends the entire length of this side of the layout, about 25 feet, and it's 2 inches above the main surface of the layout. And the reason that is because originally the backdrop was about here, and I had a plywood backdrop here because of the foundation ledge of the building is underneath this track. So this originally wasn't at the same height, and then I decided at some point to remove the backdrop, make the layout bigger, which was a good idea, but I got greedy with my track planning and put some track way back here where I can barely reach it, and to reach it you'd have to do this. To maintain it, to work on it, to do scenery, and it's just an awful experience even to stand like this for 3 seconds. So what I'd rather do is get rid of the track. So I'm going to rip it up, and then I will have more space for street scenes here, which is kind of more of what I want with what I've got going on already. It'll just kind of extend this whole dense structure area here. And it's the only place on the layout I can do it. I've got plenty of track and sidings that way. I'm not going to miss this track, so I'm going to have to find a spot where I stop it down there, and we'll cut it and just remove all of this and start from scratch, and it'll be lots of space for buildings. Okay, so let me show you a little closer here. So I'm going to keep this wall, I think, and basically there'll be a street here, and the buildings will start about here. And then I can have some side streets as well and all sorts of stuff, but it won't be anything I have to clean track-wise, so it'll be much better. So this building's going to have to go. We'll move him down there. I've got use for him somewhere else. So I've got 2 tracks. They just end right here under this piece of foam core. I really only need one for a runaround track that starts out here. So I need the switch, and then you need this, and it can just kind of go under the tunnel. I don't need this track, which means I don't need this turnout. So I'm not sure if I need this turnout. Do I rip this up, put a new piece of track here, get rid of all this, or just leave this as is and just kind of create an abandoned track with some ties and some vegetation overgrown, and then it just kind of stopped there. But what it'll do, once this track's gone here, I can extend this little alley street, and I can get a nice structure here. And then the train just disappears in this tunnel. Over here, I've got that elevated section that I've started. So that starts here, and this will be just kind of go into the wall and disappear. But now this street, which was going to end here, can kind of go this way, make a left, and kind of make a big corner out of it. So the facade of the buildings would be kind of at an angle down there. And then we turn the corner, and then I have to just decide where do we stop the track. So the track is behind this building. You can see that there. So I'm probably going to cut it right here. So everything from here over will extend all of this kind of scenery that I can build on for street scenes. And what I'll be able to do is build stuff on the workbench, cut it to fit, and then just drop it in place so I don't have to sit here hunched over. And it'll be really uncomfortable. So I've got some track to rip up. Of course, the first thing we need to do is get some of these structures out of the way. These are just mock-ups for now. And then decide exactly where this track is going to end that keeps going that way. So there's a turnout here that's not ballasted yet, so I might remove it carefully and end the track right here. That's probably the best thing to do. I can save the turnout, which is good because they're not cheap. Well, this isn't glued in, so there's no reason to put this in harm's way. Let's get him out of here. So this is what we're going to start first. So to tear up track, there's a couple things you need. One is a chisel, just to gently lift it up. Depending on how you put your track in, I use wood glue, which is easy to break. It's very strong, but once you pry it up, it kind of cracks like plastic, and some of this isn't even interesting. Okay, well, one of the things you can do is gently slip off the rail joiners if you haven't ballasted yet, which is good in this case. Now this is flex track. If I ruin the end of it, it's not the worst thing in the world, but the turnout, I think these are like 40 bucks now, so I don't want to screw it up too much. And there we go. Still great to use somewhere else. And this is where this line ends. If you look down here, this goes down for another 8 to about 20 feet or so, and there's two sidings way down there that are accessed at the other end of the layout, which is fine. I might even rip this up because I might not need it, but it's good for a staging track. If we could pry this up without ruining it too much. No, not really. Once it starts to come out of the plastic, yeah, that's not going to work. Oh. And I can't stand working back here. It's so bad on your back. And I'm leaning over some delicate scenery in front of me. So I'm very happy with this decision to remove this track because it's just not going to work out. That's not going to be good to reuse. Son of a... Okay. Remove all loose buildings first. Put that on your list of things to do when you do this. Fortunately, she's intact. And we got to move her anyway. So this turnout is this. I did ballast here, so I don't know if we're going to be able to save this one. Be pretty satisfying if I did save it. So let's see what we can do. The problem is, what you can't see is I'm leaning over all the structures in front and trying not to crush them like Godzilla. So I could remove this. Okay, so we haven't destroyed the turnout yet. Ah, look at that. Now I can soak it in alcohol, get all this, most of this off, and reuse it. So let's take a look where we're at. All the track is gone from here all the way to the end of the layout. This cord will be gone soon. I'll just cover that outlet up. My original thought was to rip up the cork roadbed as well, but since this has been a miserable experience, I'm not even going to attempt to do that. So whatever I'll do structure-wise, I will do on my workbench on 1/4-inch plywood, and that'll be the surface, including the street and whatever else goes on here. The only issue, which is really annoying, is this 2x4 sill plate that's on the foundation. So now I've got this nice level, then I have to stop here with whatever I'm doing and notch it in, which isn't the worst thing, but it would have been nice if it was all flat. I could raise it up to be flush, but then that'd be too high. I don't want the wall higher than what I have already, so I'm just going to have to work around it, kind of like this with this foundation for the highway, and just notch out whatever building goes into the wall perpendicular. So I just changed my mind. I want to extend this little street here. I can still fit a nice sized building without tearing up this track. So I'm not going to bother doing that. So I've put some paper down over where we're going to be building this new scene. So you can sort of picture, I might even do that at an angle. Yeah, that'd be better at an angle to turn the street like that. Maybe keep going and do that. So this would kind of disappear behind a building. Street, 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 street. Maybe go in short street. This goes under the highway. So building, whole street of buildings here. And then we could fill in the corner here. Oh, you know what? Hang on a second. Oh yeah, that even matches the right angle there. So something like that, not necessarily that building, maybe that building, but in another building here. What do we have for mock-up? Something there, and then we turn the corner. Building, building, buildings, highway. And this can get extended now towards the back. Well, let's put the new kit back there. You go back here. Let's get this guy here. Put you back where you belong. So now this extends all the way to the back as far as another little street can go this way. Buildings behind it now that the track's gone. This is extended all the way to the back, so maybe this street comes this way, turns left, does a little zigzag so we can get a facade here, a building there. Let me find a mock-up. Hold on. Something like that. So come down the street under the highway, make a left, make a right, then another right. More buildings behind that. Buildings, 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 street, all connected. The subway will have to die into the wall there. No more track. What else can we rip up? This is so much better already. I can just feel it. It feels better. This was a bit of a mess today, ripping the track up, but totally worth it. I got rid of a lot of track I didn't want or need, and I certainly didn't want to maintain, given how far back it was. And it's created this whole new section of real estate for me to put new structures and add even more life to this scene, which is exactly what I wanted. So if you've got some track on your layout, don't feel obligated to keep it. Rip it up, change it, do what you got to do. It's a bit of work, but if you're not happy with it, you know, you shouldn't have to live with something you're not happy with. I want to thank our Patreon supporters. If you want to see more content, more photos, more behind the scenes stuff of what we do here in the shop, sneak peek to new kits, kit releases, and so forth, check us out at patreon.com. We've also added a new tier where we do an exclusive video only on Patreon once a week. And of course, check out our website, fosskits.com. You can see over 100 HL scale kits that you might be interested in. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.